What's up, guys? Welcome to the Outer Nexus. Tonight, we will be fawning over cute robot dogs, some terrifying dragons, and then we are going to deep dive into real life Warframes, which are like advanced humanoid robots, and the implications of being able to digitally upload your consciousness to an artificial body like that. It's pretty weird. But first, let's check out how cute these dogs are. And honestly, it's like a scene from the beginning of a new Starship Troopers movie, but I can't get over how cute these things are. Watch this. Look at them. They get out of the truck, and look at how adorable they are. They all have little tails. They're antennas, but they're ready to go. They're ready to go.
Ready to,
Yeah.
start a war, whatever.
Start a war, just imagine these things hunting you down. They can mount a whole bunch. What do you think they got on there to mount whatever weapons they want on there?
I mean, they could mount, but these ones look like they're built for sensors.
Okay, so these are stereotypical for disaster relief areas.
Oh, no.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
always.
Yeah, always. But
for disaster relief areas. Come on now.
They're definitely not, monitoring people. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I just what do you think about these things? That use in warfare?
I mean, it's absolutely coming.
It's absolutely coming.
There is no stopping that. I mean, it's here.
It's there.
So it's
right
like
there.
It's coming. We're going to see more of them. We're
Yeah.
going to see different versions of them.
The Kawasaki Corleo. You're not going to be riding that thing.
It's just going to be dragging you back.
Dragging you back into its cave.
Yeah.
Okay, so just now let's check out this one, because this is legitimately amazing.
This one's a Disney version.
Well, is it Disney or here? Look at this, or whatever the
Universal Epic.
Universal Epic. Here, check this out. Look at how cute this thing is. Oh my God. It's got the motion down. It's got the eye movement. And that's the thing that I don't get about these headless Robodogs. Why don't they just slap a head on them? I mean, it looks
right.
It looks amazing. People would pay money for that.
Oh yeah.
People would pay tens of thousands of dollars for that in their home.
And there's a new thing.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as cute as this thing, by the way. But there is a new thing coming out.
Yeah.
Samsung Bali.
Is that the one in the space station?
I don't know if it's in the space station, but Samsung Bali is like.
Okay, let me look this thing up.
Yeah, it's like a little ball.
Bali robot.
Yep.
Let's look at this thing.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
There you go.
Maybe there's a video of it.
Yeah.
Bali. Oh, I think it's CGI, but that's fine.
I think this one is, but this is real, and you can sign up for this.
Yeah, and this would not be hard to make in real life. Even though it's CGI.
Yep. So it comes out. It has a projector. On it, so it can actually. There goes. It projects onto your wall.
So it's like R2D2 almost.
Yep. And what you saw her doing there is it looked at her and then was giving her examples of how she could look if she did different things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
it comes up. It gives you a whole bunch of concepts for you, I guess.
Yes, and that's what it's showing here.
That's interesting.
Yep.
Oh, I guess it could be like a mobile computer that follows you around.
That's exactly what it is.
Maybe you could interact with
the
thing.
There's Google Gemini in it.
Oh, it's got Google Gemini in it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So that thing's gonna be that. I mean, the Roomba needed an upgrade after 15 years. I go into Best Buy like last week.
Yeah.
And there's a fucking Roomba on the shelf, and it's like a display, and it's got like a little house now. The Roombas have a little house that they go into to charge, but the Roomba itself looks the same as it did 15 years ago. That is just like a tick. There's no reason to upgrade it. It's just, it's good enough. Now we have Google Gemini Bali.
Yep.
But also, hold on, let me see. Space Station Ball Robot. And this is actually pretty. Here we go. This is actually. Oh, this is like from 7 years ago, though. Hang on. What are you doing?
There have been a couple of failed robots out there.
Yeah.
In the same category as Bali.
Yeah.
And generally, why they have failed in the past is because they didn't have AI integration.
Yeah.
And now that they do, they're thinking now they're not.
Oh yeah. Now with AI integration, int ball, and this thing just kind of floats around in the space station. It actually doesn't seem that useful. Let's see what it does. It's just kind of floating there. Okay. I thought it did more than that. But yeah, so we have robots in the space station also.
My favorite robot that I saw in space,
yeah,
was from Interstellar. It was
yeah,
those I forget what they're called.
Yeah, I forget what that thing was called.
But yeah, I like those like flat wall ones. Yeah, I like those.
Just
cool.
like a fucking Minecraft robot.
They were cool.
Yeah, that was pretty badass. Yeah. And you know, the practicality of these robots is really coming to fruition. Well, it's not really a robot, but these sort of exoskeletons, things that people have been developing. I thought this was pretty impressive. This is finally something that's not just like this clunky piece of shit where it doesn't look practical at all. This actually looks like a very practical device. Here, I'll just show you this. So he's just able to get up and move around and just sit wherever. And he looks like he's got grasshopper legs. They all look like they have good. And this is what all future factory workers will be required to have. This will be a class designator. If you wear these legs, people will know you're on the factory floor.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sure they got them. I'm sure they got them at Amazon already. I'm sure that's where they're using them.
Yeah, I'm sure that these are being deployed somewhere.
Yeah, they're being used.
Yeah. Always like the idea of those. Those are nice.
Yeah, I mean they're very practical. It's very interesting. But as far as the practical development of humanoid robots, we have these, and I'll pull this up. It's basically talking about the thing that I like to talk about the most is you building these humanoid robots to start putting them in spaceships and start rapidly prototyping space development. And it looks like that is what they are. That's what they're intending on doing. Tesla wants to slap these the Optimus robots into the next Starship near the end of the year to Mars. And these things are going to be in this spaceship, and he's going to send it to Mars. And I think that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder about the ability to control it, the ability to operate. Like, we obviously have drones already on Mars, but I do wonder about the ability, because also while it's up in space, we don't have many different examples of robots actually operating in 0G.
Right.
So that'd be interesting just to see.
And that actually segues kind of into the next topic, in that I'm going to assume that the goal there is to teleoperate them. And teleoperated robot, they've been doing it. They've been using motion capture to refine their movements and things like that. But I feel like the best teleoperated robot that you can possibly have is the kind of robot that is as close to human movement as possible. And the humanoid robots that we've seen so far, they're using servos and they're just straight parts, and they're mechanical. They're very mechanical. This robot, and this is what I believe this is the next stage of humanoid robot development. This is based on actual basically muscle architecture, kind of. It's not 1-to-1, but it's pretty freaking close. It's pretty freaking creepy too, though. But I think this is the next level here, and we're gonna get into this. Look at well, man, it's so weird.
Yeah,
it's like an alien. Oh God, it's so crazy looking. But this thing, what's up?
So I have a question for you then.
Yeah.
All right. So we have these ones.
Yeah.
And you were saying that
look, they even have a like outline of the skull just to make it creepier.
And you were saying that, the best version maybe for a human to interact with would be one that
is like this.
Once
we get this figured out.
Yeah. Gets all figured out and it basically moves the same way we do.
Yes.
Now, do you think though that at some point, like say, we have this technology is now not new.
Yes.
It's old.
Yes.
And there have been children that have been brought up with this.
Yes.
Now, do you think at some point though we could in fact just move to the how like currently, like if a robot wants to move backwards, it may actually start stepping backwards before it actually turns its torso around to do that. But I think a human could actually get used to those odd movements.
So and this is part of it. I don't think that happens first.
No.
I think what happens is we need something that's 1-to-1. That's like this. I mean, we could still teleoperate those other robots. That's not a problem. But in terms of like, basically, conscience transference, like, or immersion, maybe immersion would be a better way to start that. It like full immersion is something that would mostly replicate actual human movement to get used to the environment, and then then you could start doing a lot of weird stuff. But the teleoperated robots right now, I don't really know how they work. Maybe they use VR, but I would think that these would be more accurate.
Yeah. I mean, to start with, for sure, because it would be like, if we were to, teleoperate into something like that, it's like, oh, like
it's all right
there. It's all right there. It's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like in the future,
once you get that would be fine.
Yeah.
But the main point for this is that I'm trying to get to is that having a fully immersive, nearly 1-to-1 experience is, I think that's more than teleoperation. I think with robots like these, we can. It sort of opens the door, and with the different types of technology we have now, it opens the door to digitally uploading. I'll call it digitally uploading right now, but because that's what's expected to happen. Not expected. That's how science is looking at it right now, is a quote unquote digital upload.
So an upload of your consciousness.
An upload of your my position is that and has always been that consciousness is separate from the body. Mind body dualism. I think we're just Bluetoothing into these things. That's my opinion. And I think with things like this, it'll make it much, much easier. And basically, a famous example of this is in a game called Warframe. And Warframe basically covers these concepts extensively, where it's like 4,000 years in the future, mankind has conquered the solar system, and man has devolved and evolved in different directions. Like there's the Grenier that are like genetically modified clones of each other. They're all space marines and they just keep cloning each other to perpetuate their race. And then there's the Corpus, which are kind of similar to humans, but they're more technologically integrated. They're basically humans though. And then there's these Warframes, which you can transfer your consciousness into, and they are like they're these machines that they're it's like biotech. It's like super advanced metamaterials, and the descriptions in game are really wild. It is by far one of my favorite science fiction titles, just because of these concepts alone. Because I think I like the way that Warframe portrays it, as crazy as it is, I don't think it's too far off if we can make custom bodies for ourselves. The craziness of that universe. What do you think, Billy? What's your opinion? Let's get into it.
I think it's a little further off.
Like here's 4,000 years in the future, everybody's got their own custom-made bodies out of metamaterials, and they're like, and all of these Warframes have like electrogravitic effects, and they can warp physics in certain ways with their mind and shit.
Yeah, I mean, granted, I do think there'll be stuff maybe like that eventually.
Yeah,
but I think to start with, like, for instance, one of the Warframes you had pulled up there, was your favorite Rhino.
Yeah, oh yeah, Rhino's. Yeah, hold on.
He's the one all the way on the left over there.
Yeah.
And he's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying anything necessarily about his abilities, but he, like, if you teleoperated into something like that, you could do that. Like, I'm not saying he's going to have all the abilities that Rhino has, but I am saying, like, he could do a lot of those same things.
What do you mean?
Like, obviously, he's not just like one of his big abilities, like shielding and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, you could, if we're a little bit in the future, we could see shielding or something like that, pop up.
Yeah.
So I don't think it would be so hard to do one like that.
Yeah.
But then when you start getting into
the crazy ones,
some of the other ones, it's like,
oh yeah,
maybe not.
No, oh yeah, and I'm not talking about the further along ones. I'm just talking about the basically the starter ones: Excalibur, Rhino, Mag. The simple ones. I think those are actually really good examples. Now let's posit, that as a huge fan of UAP, again, I believe consciousness is separate from the body, and in some ways, I think consciousness is either precedes matter or is involved with matter generation to a certain extent. I think our brains are room temperature biological quantum computers. So I think if we can if we can actually upload our consciousness into things rather than just VR, AR, teleoperating, but actually transfer our consciousness to something, we would be able to harness, dramatic field generation abilities. That's just my opinion. What do you think about that kind of stuff? Like you said with the shielding.
Yeah. I mean, I think now, are you saying those abilities would come from us?
I think basically what I'm saying is if we figure out how to, and this ties into the idea of psionics being able to psychically link into UAP. Some are allegedly they can transfer their consciousness into a UAP craft to control it, and that gives them the ability, the gravitic abilities to operate the craft. Yeah, I think that falls in line here. I think if that's possible, if that's real, then if we can transfer our consciousness into vessels that are hyper advanced and offer our consciousness these, I think our consciousness could manipulate gravity. I think it's just like Dune to do transverse space-time. Your consciousness needs to manipulate space-time in some way. And I think Warframe gets to that. I think that is the metaphysical aspect of Warframe, is that their consciousness is facilitating these abilities.
They do. They get into that with the void.
Yes, with the void.
Yeah, and that's where those kind of abilities come in.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get to that point, you are talking about, psionic abilities.
Yes.
Whether or not we'll have them, who knows? I think they could also be machine assisted.
Oh yeah. And that's the other angle of this. The whole other angle of this is that the elites want to digitally upload their consciousness to immortal bodies. They are and that's what they're desperately trying to do. They're trying to map out consciousness. They're trying to figure out how it works. And my position is consciousness is immaterial. You can look as far and as deep as you want into the brain. You're not going to find it. Like, I think I had something up where they analyzed a piece of the brain and had all this neural mapping around it. Let me see if I can find it.
Well, one of the big questions that's always been there is, okay, so where in the brain am I?
Yes.
And that's always been one of the big questions. And there is a chance that we could probe the brain as much as we want. We could look at all the neural whatever we want, and we'll never find it.
That's what I'm saying. Here we go. I'm going to pull up this picture. So this researchers have created, this is from Brian Rommel, awesome dude, a brain wiring diagram, the largest and detailed yet. Researchers have created the largest and most detailed wiring diagram of a mammalian brain to date by mapping cells in a cubic millimeter of a mouse's brain tissue. In a landmark achievement, the diagram also details the activity of individual neurons at a large scale. And neuroscience first. The high-resolution 3D map contains more than 200,000 brain cells, around 82,000 of which are neurons. It also includes more than 500 million of the neuronal connection points called synapses and more than 4 kilometers of neuronal wiring, all found in a tiny block of tissue in the brain region involved in vision. And you can just keep looking deeper and deeper and deeper as far as you want. And you could map out as many kilometers of neurons as you want, but you're not going to fucking find it because it's emanating into the device. It's emanating into the vessel. It's not being generated inside. That's my personal opinion. You know what I mean? It's like and I feel the same way about dark matter. Trying to find it out in space and in atoms, it's not there because it's it's being matter is being emanated in from consciousness. I know that sounds weird, but I think you could look as hard as you want, but you're not gonna pinpoint consciousness exactly. But that's what these elites want to do. They want to try to map this out. And I as an IT guy for 10 years, I was pretty experienced in imaging computers, getting exact copies back and forth. And I think that's kind of what they want to do. I think that's definitely part of the process, getting it as close as possible. But they think they can download it's the Star Trek argument, the teleportation thing.
Yeah.
They think they could download a consciousness to a hard disk and then upload it to somewhere else and it'll be the same person. And I just don't think it works like that. What do you think?
I mean, that's the
that's their goal.
Yeah. Well, I meant that's the teleportation issue is like when you actually do that, are you the same person on the other end of that teleportation?
Yeah.
And I generally I've gone back and forth on this one. At the moment, I stand at no. Like you are not the same person on the other end. There is someone there that believes to any extent that they are you, but that you probably died on the one end.
I think it's way dark. I think it's a horrifying blank. Just a body that's living without a consciousness, like just
on the other end.
Like if you did that, if hypothetically if you did that with the teleportation and you just disintegrated someone and rebuilt the body, it would just be this. It would look exactly like that. It would be living, but it would either have no brain activity going on, or you'd be starting over from stage one, like a toddler, like 1-year-old, and you'd have to reteach them everything. Okay. That's what I kind of think.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean? Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? And I am jumping this on them right here. But what do you think would happen? Say you had you're here on Earth.
Yeah.
And over in Mars, you have a 100%, it's made from you. There is a clone of you.
Yes.
At the exact same age that you're at on Mars. It stays in a vat. Could you?
Yeah, and this is the dark shit. Well, it's not dark. It might be more like eventually we'll come around to accept the idea of it. But yeah, I think you can have backup bodies and you can upload your consciousness to them.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's definitely a thing. I think that's going to be a disturbing revelation when people realize, yeah, maybe that's actually possible.
I actually don't think it's that disturbing. Yeah. And the reason I bring it up is like right now there are some, you could say, almost moral implications.
Yeah, that's what it would be. It would be moral implications.
Well, and you would say that
religious implications,
religious ones. Yeah, for sure. But you would say that more because it's like the only ones that would ever have access to that right now are the rich.
Yeah.
But if it comes down to like cloning technology and it's like, oh, it's actually not all that hard anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, well, then everyone can do it. And it's like, then how is it,
And I think that here's my speculative leap. I think the Chinese maybe not totally figured it out, but they are trying. They are either trying or they have figured it out.
Well, they've already gotten in trouble a few times for cloning stuff that they weren't supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's definitely still going on.
Yeah.
I believe it's probably still going on. China, probably most major countries still have a project that's just off the good books.
And the reason why it's not like, and I don't want to paint China as the boogeyman here. The reason why I think China actually is attempting to do this is because of their Eastern philosophy and approach to science. Their approach to science incorporates things like mind-body dualism, metaphysics, things that over here have basically been stamped out. Like, this is all pseudoscience. You can't believe in this. Whereas I think they do definitely practice more frontier science over there, but they mostly just copy us. For the most part, they just copy us.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, China's not always the boogeyman.
Yeah.
I definitely like to point to them because it's easy pickings.
It's easy pickings.
But granted, if I said China has that, on the book somewhere, a cloning facility, most likely.
Yeah.
The US does too.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to copy it from somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but I think that is where we will wrap this episode up.
Okay.
Please like and subscribe, guys. We'll see you next time.